All right. Thanks and appreciate it. I'm going to correct the previous speaker on one thing. He said thousands of us across the globe. It's probably more likely hundreds of thousands of us across the globe are helping out. Quite a few of us. Thankfully, those of us that don't still have to answer to any kind of security officer. All right, let's see how this works. Or not. God help us, we need this bloody thing to work. I got 70 odd slides to go through in 25 minutes. Next, I'm not yelling next slide. You get a reset thing sorted, please. Hang on, if all else fails. Shit happens. I can't do next slide this way, it's gonna kill me. Is it, can we get this working? There's a very nice man looking at me through glass or not. Or is it just working slowly? Hang on. Brad, is it working or we killed it? All right, it's working on delay. It's government. All right, let's see if we can get this thing going. Government does work sometimes. All right, so as was pointed out, Boom Supersonic researcher, a father to both two-legged and four-legged things. I can be found on the internet in a number of different places. The Dr. Dark Web stuff is partly because of my background in threat intelligence research and all sorts of other fun, silly things. And then, yes, a hacker. Hey, all right, there we go. Agenda. I'm gonna have some fun with the agenda. We're gonna give everybody a pat on the back to begin with. We're at least trying to be nice for at least the first 30 seconds of this talk. And then we just get into the nasty stuff. We're gonna have a conversation about warfare. We're gonna keep it short and sweet because there's 3 different areas that we're having to focus on. And then we're gonna have a conversation about choices. This is the wonderful world of a tick in the box. Not a dick in the box, I point out. The trifecta, otherwise known as the security industry, and then some things that we can and should be doing. Come on, you know you want to switch. Yes, I think I hit the bottom of the stupid thing, not the top of it. All right, so first and foremost, let's have some congratulations. We'll be nice to everybody. Do I have to point this? There we go, yeah. So for some of you, there are some amazing things that some of you have done. You actually have a security posture. Now, hopefully, talking to some of the government folks, that better be a given. If it isn't, we've got bigger problems. Some of you actually get on with the security team and you've integrated your teams. You've done it without having to be yelled at. You've managed, some of you, to pass an agile audit, and some of you do awareness training more than once a year, although I'm not going to take too many bets on that. It's the same fucking thing. I remember sitting down with, I think it was at Cyber Shield a couple of years ago. I sat down and we're giving a lecture. I'm like, how many of you do security awareness training? Every hand went up. Like, wow, well done. How many of you did the same training this year that you did last year? And everybody's hand stayed up. I'm like, you bastards. Once a year, you get told, don't click shit and don't send shit. Well done. Yay. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So from a congratulations standpoint, everybody feels good. We've got our tick in the box. We've done our security awareness training. Everything's wonderful. This, by the way, is a civilian view of the world. And this is what you're all having to deal with. So everybody's all happy and everybody's all good, which obviously means the bunny's going to get it. So we're going to have a talk about reality. Reality comes in 3 flavors. Flavor number 1, adversarial front. Now, logic would say, if we can click the stupid button, that we have been at war in the digital realm, and this is all arguable, since what, mid-80s, give or take a little bit. So we had a whole bunch of good conversations around the mid-80s. We had some amazing stuff that came out, and since then, well, we've been on some interesting footing with various people, but I'm talking to some very, very nice people here, and hopefully you got a handle on this shit. Ish. Now, we take a look at the disinformation front, partly what our Ukrainian colleague was talking about. That has been a shit show ever since the Trojans put this stupid thing outside of somebody's fucking doorstep. I went, hey, we're leaving you a present. Which dumbass brings that into the freaking building? I'm just going to haul it in and ignore the pee that's coming out of the bottom of it. Nowadays, we call upon Fox and CNN to give us our wonderful thing called disinformation, as fed by everybody else on this damn planet. Please notice I didn't just blame Fox, as much as I fucking want to. I'm going to blame both sides equally, let's be perfectly honest. Now, what we do about this, I have no freaking clue. We've got 300 million Americans who go, well, I'm going to believe what they tell me on television, which means we're all screwed and they're also going to push the button. Then, and we don't do a damn thing. It doesn't love me, does it? Ah, there we go. Now we deal with the cybersecurity front. That's our realm. This one is probably the biggest shit show. It's the biggest shit show in part because we award ourselves things. We're really, I actually had to Google this. I didn't believe that a Black Unicorn Award was something legitimate, and it is. We pat ourselves on the back in this industry. We make up awards, and those that we don't make up, we pay $1,500 to $2,500 to sponsor ourselves to be CISO of the fucking year. There are companies that have walls of this shit out there. Those of you that are transitioning from the military and the government into thou art civilian world, if you walk into the company and they have a wall of this stuff up there, run. Which means in our industry, oh man, business is booming. I mean, the money is flowing. I mean, it's fucking bucket loads of it are coming in. You've got vendors flowing it in. You've got people from the vulture capital world throwing money at all of us. You just got to have a word, cyber something or quantum something, and somebody's writing you a $10 million check. Meanwhile, this is reality. Outside of the government space, if you take this in the physical world, my 6'3" hairy ass is walking around your network, your house. Take it in the physical, your house. I'm in your house for 197 days. Why haven't you tasered me or shot me? I'm not nice. I probably leave the toilet seat up. I leave crumbs in the bed. I pee on the potted plant. Yet for 197 days, you leave me to run around your network. And then when you finally figure out that my sorry ass is inside, it takes you another 70 days to get rid of me. If you can bloody well get rid of me. Because if I'm sensible, I haven't just left one of the door keys under the front mat. I've left several of the stupid things. On top of that, all of this other stuff, this is probably the one that pisses me off the most. We pat ourselves on the back, and on average globally, we're losing 22.5 million records a day that we know of. That sucks. Kind of a nice question to ask, really, isn't it? What about the very people that we're meant to protect? Not the government networks, not the infrastructure, the 300,000 large companies and the 30 million small to medium businesses. What are we doing for them? I'll tell you what we're doing for them. We are making them put a tick in the box, because that's a good way of dealing with things. Now, because I have an English accent, I want to point out it's a tick in the box. When I say it, it's not a dick in the box, although a dick in the box would probably be more fucking use. So we started off by saying, are you secure? And they went, absolutely. Yes, we're secure. We then said, well, we don't believe you. We're going to ask you if you've got a firewall. And they went, oh, yes, we've got a firewall. We didn't ask them if they'd taken it out of the freaking shrink wrap. That was our first mistake. So we're like, one box isn't good enough. We have to put more boxes up there for them now. Not only do we put more boxes up for them, but we've given each little kind of subsection their own set of boxes. If you've got HIPAA data, you've got a set of boxes. If you've got PCI, if you're doing FERC, if you're doing CMMC, if you're doing ISO, there's 20 plus of these buggers. Each one of them, as it says, building its own little empire. Each one of them with their own select companies. I'm sorry, you'd like to implement this solution. Well, you can't implement this solution because it doesn't comply with our tick in the box. So you can't actually have that one because they're not certified. So this is about where we end up. This is the wonderful vendor network. Everybody's telling you they've got this wonderful thing called artificial intelligence. It's amazing. It's great. It's nothing more than a set of variables that we've put some fuzzy scripting in. Options for machine language. Yeah, welcome to that set of vendor bullshit. 30 frameworks. How the hell are we meant to get anything done? If y'all are doing nothing more than wrapping any more bloody red tape, and when that red tape doesn't work, we're going to put more ticks in the box because that'll solve everything. We think we got problems. We haven't seen anything yet. And then all the QSAs and then, yeah, several thousand vendors. So what's happening in the meantime? Well, obviously, the criminals, the adversaries are having a field day. Oh, God, it's crazy. I mean, this is profit central. Why the hell do I want to risk my time and effort when all I got to do is one attack in the digital realm and I can use it in 1,000 different places? Yeah, it's simple. I like buttons. There we go. Ah, 2 buttons. Can I go backwards on this thing? Let's have a look. There we go. So not only do we have the criminals having a field day, we in the industry have made things even more complicated. Once upon a time, well, actually, if we go even further back than once upon a time, we had an mainframe in an room and a person with a gun. And if you weren't allowed on the mainframe, you got shot. Life was simple that way. Then we were a little more complicated. We had 3-tier architecture: the web, the application server, and the database. Now we got what, 20, 30, 40, 50 layers of abstraction between the damn things? We couldn't secure 3 layers. What the hell thinks we can do 40 or 50 of the stupid things? And we still haven't figured out how to actually wrap security effectively into all of this, let alone know what we have that we're meant to be wrapping it around in the first place. As it says, more platforms, more vendors, more suppliers, more of absolutely everything. Each one of them, by the way, telling you they can solve your problem. So, welcome to information security. State of the Union in one slide. Now, obviously, AI is going to save it all. According to the vendors, it's going to solve all of our problems. Yeah, no shit, exactly, yeah. I got a better one for you, though. I can make pigs fly. So, part of my job is to do adversarial AI. In other words, I get to break everybody's AI. Life is fun and games for me. So what we ended up doing, we managed to change 0.005% of that picture, as in like 4 pixels. And we got the AI engine to quantify it as an airliner, which is kind of cool. So AI basically means we can make pigs fly. Yay! There's your solution for you. So when somebody comes in and says, hey, I've got an endpoint detection that's built off of AI, please just think of this one equation. Nothing else matters. If any of you want to know how to actually ask the right questions, we got stuff up on the internet to help with that, and it's free. Now, as far as the 30 million companies and the 300,000 enterprises, this is all they want to be able to do. Put freaking ticks in boxes. Security is getting there. SEC has just turned around and said, basically, thou shalt have a CISO on the board, or at least close enough to the board they can throw rocks at the buggers. Taking a drink while not getting it tangled in the beard is always an interesting thing. So it's getting there, but it isn't there yet. Which is why, unfortunately, our own industry is public enemy number 3. Because we're fighting on 3, so we're fighting basically in 3 areas. We're fighting the adversaries, we're basically fighting disinformation, and we have to fight our own industry to understand what the hell reality is and who's lying to us, which kind of sucks. Ah, please. Please. Ooh, I get a mouse. Sweet. I'll take that. I don't know what that does. Is that me doing that or is that you? That's you driving. Okay, you drive. I'm good. I'm happy. Just click a slide whenever you want. So meanwhile, the vendor is, not the vendor, the poor company is sitting there. They want to put a tick in the box. But this is reality. This is why we have interns. We have interns so we can sacrifice them. Because every single one of you, I will lay money, every single one of you has got a computer somewhere that you're not too sure what it does. But you know, if you touch the damn thing, it's going to turn off the lights in DC. And you probably shouldn't do that because somebody's going to yell at you, but you're just going to leave it the fuck alone. You don't patch it, you don't upgrade, you don't ever turn the damn thing off. Good God, sacrifice somebody every 6 to 12 months. It's the easiest way to deal with this damn thing. So then we have the audacity to say, well, you ticked all the boxes, but you're not secure. It's like, what the fuck? Why did I just spend the last 12 months keeping the auditor in a dark room, not letting them out, only to realize I'm not secure? Because obviously putting a tick in the box doesn't mean you're damn secure. So you've ticked the boxes, you're not secure, and you're still going to get breached. Why am I ticking the damn boxes? So at this point in time, we've told them, we as the security community said, hey, if you buy my product, a nice shiny product, and you put it in, it's going to make you secure. It's going to keep all the bad guys away. It's going to keep all the APTs away, the bad Russian people, the bad Korean people, bad anybody. Can we please blame New Zealand for once? We never blame New Zealand for it, just once. I want to see like a DISA report that blames New Zealand. Just once, please. So we're lying, obviously. And not only are we lying, but what we're also doing is when the security company comes in and says, oh, we want to secure you, like, oh, no, you can't secure everything. That's not allowed. See, only that one computer has critical stuff on it. That's the only thing you can test. That's the only thing that matters. Not the 5,000 computers that are over here. No, none of those matter. And as a security person, especially the hacker in the room, I go, I'm going to leave that one alone and go for the other 4,999 computers because your ass basically left them alone. So, as it says, we don't test properly. Not only do we not test properly, we don't let people retaliate. So imagine, this is America land. Several hundred years ago, we had a bit of a fight and you asked us to leave. Rather unpolitely, I hasten to add. You also put the bloody tea in the harbor. I will not forgive you for that one. Bastards. So then, since then, you've been collecting guns. Not just one or two of them. 400, 500, who knows? Lots. I have, by the way, joined into this thing. It's kind of fun to do. You can actually walk into somewhere and buy a gun and walk out again. You can't do that in the United of Kingdoms. They rugby tackle you on the way in, let alone trying to escape with the stupid thing. So anyway, let's see. 330 million Americans, 400 million plus guns, and you're telling them they can't retaliate. It ain't working well, is it? Let's be honest. This is why, as terrible as it sounds, the Ukrainian thing has actually been a really nice outlet for a lot of us. It's like that frustration release. It's like, because we know who the fucking bad guy is. This isn't that we actually know who the bad person is. Unlike most of the time when you're like, I don't know who the hell broke in. It says that computer, but it's North Korea's grandma's computer. We all use the same computers, let's face it. So you can't retaliate. Now, I will say, if you do get breached and you get called out, it's okay. Because we have we're good at this. We actually have a service which helps you become contrite. It helps you stand up as the CEO of a company, crocodile tears. We actually help you understand crocodile tears. You go in front of Congress and you stand there and go, the bad people with the APT broke into me, and Congress goes, oh, I'm so sorry. And off you go again. So you didn't put the tick in the box for several years. You didn't figure out security. You don't really care about security, to be honest. You didn't spend any money on it. You got your ass handed to you. You made people put petrol in plastic bags and the back of their truck. And a fucking swimming pool. You get to cry crocodile tears and you get let off. Why aren't we tasering these people? You got 400 million guns and probably 100 million tasers, one taser cartridge on the CEO of this particular company, and we'd solve half of security's problems. Public TV or the internet, please. So while we're on the subject of this, let's talk about racketeering, i.e. cybersecurity. So let's take this one step at a time. I come to you and go, hi, you'd like to operate on the internet. Therefore, if you're going to take my data, I need you to do certain things. And you're like, okay, so I'm going to sell you something. Then I'm going to sell you an audit for something. Then I'm going to sell you the product to support the audit. And I'm going to sell you when I audit you. And then when it goes wrong, I'm going to sell you more expensive services to fix the shit that broke that you put in place because I told you it was the right thing. But then I'm going to sell you an incident response system to make it work again. And then I'm going to sell you even more expensive products to fix the problem that the first set should have problem in the first place. Yeah, no shit, and nothing talks to each other. This is racketeering 101. Seriously, this is our industry. The words "it's broken" come to mind. So the argument is it sustainable? Well, unfortunately, it seems to be, which isn't good. Some of us would like to see change. Here are some things I would like to see. First and foremost, we'll cut the bullshit, that's the easy one. I want accountability. Like, seriously. When you go out with the government's checkbook and go buy shit, which you're going to do, unfortunately, when they sell you the 100% solution and everything's perfect, I want accountability. What I want is for you to write a clause in the contract. You can bury it on page 365 for all I care. But it says, when it goes wrong, I get to taser you. And we get to send it to Chris and put it on YouTube. That's all I want. Just little small clause in there. Every single one of these fucking vendors that tries to sell you their perfect product, hold them accountable. So when shit does hit the fan, they're right next to you. They don't necessarily have to be the bullet shield in front of you, but I want them at least right next to you. Because it ain't happening in the regular business world. Not only do I want accountability, this has got to stop. This, seriously. These are all from security vendors. Hacker-proof. Really? Motherfuckers. Challenge accepted. I mean, really? And we believe this shit. We don't, because we're in the industry, let's be perfectly honest. 30 million small businesses believe this. That's the fight. Not the adversary, not the fucking APT. That is the fight. We do it to ourselves. It's got to stop. And it has to stop because we've got to do something. We have to listen. The folks are listening. They're believing. They know they've got to buy something, so they're just going to buy something that looks good. That's the wrong way of doing it, unfortunately. And here's why. We all know the statistics, but these are proven. Let's be perfectly honest. How quickly we can take things in the physical realm and the digital realm. How easy it is to own this data. And this goes back to what I was talking about earlier. Your once a year, congratulations, you've ticked the box that says I've done my awareness training. 7 to 20 times it takes to get through humans to help them understand something. We failed. If we don't help people help themselves on a cyclical, regular basis, we know better than anybody else. We have to be better. So how do we do it? And I got 2 minutes to go through the rest of the slides. Please hold, we're going to go quickly. Let's talk soft skills. Let's talk about these ones. Communication, collaboration, cooperation, coordination. No tech necessary. Just talk to each other effectively. Not only that, I'm trying to read it in the glass and I can't quite do it. I used to be able to read it really good. We need a different approach. Here's what I mean by a different approach. How many of you have been involved in pen testing and assessment work? Most of you. Okay, so let's just run through this very, very quickly. Let me explain a standard pen test. Hello, I'm here to penetrate you. What the fuck? And I'm not only here to penetrate you, I'm here to penetrate you with Kali, the goddess of death and destruction. And by the way, I'm bringing pineapples and ponies with me. At this point, you're like, where's the fucking lube? That doesn't work. That is an adversarial relationship. How about we walk up to everybody and go, hey, I got tea, coffee, donuts, biscuits. Let's talk. Not only let's talk, but let's talk effectively. Yes, you know this had to be in here. Not only this, let's do tabletops. Let's do things where we can involve people. We bring them in, we talk with them, we work with them. You know somebody's still going to get eaten, but at least it's done around a table and we've had communication and collaboration. We haven't pissed them off by breaking into all their shit and shown them up. You can do that eventually, I promise, but the first few stages, do it this way. Let's also talk in a language that everybody, I know this is hard. I'm former military. We spoke in acronyms. We did the same thing in security. We understand it. No other poor son of a bitch does. They're like, okay. Doesn't work. Speak in their language. We need to teach people to ask more questions. The director of the FBI did not call you up and ask for gift cards. No, you do not have a long-lost cousin in Nigeria. No, nobody loves you on the internet. Okay, that gets rid of 90% of scams. But we have to get people to ask more questions. DevSecOps, another word for collaboration. We couldn't use the word collaboration. We had to come up with another freaking word for it. You get the idea. Work together, please. I say work together. Is anybody here from DHS that wants to admit to being here from DHS? If anybody's here from DHS, can you please get my fucking global entry turned back on? Please. Don't tell the FBI. Just turn it on. This is the other one, share. This is why I don't like the FBI. Hey, give us all your information. We won't tell you anything back. We got to share. We have to get better at sharing. All of us have to get better at sharing. I'm talking to military and government people. Most of you understand your surroundings. We need to help everybody else understand it too. This is why. There's a IoT village here. They got 4 or 5 devices. They're missing about 34 billion of the devices out there. That's what our target environment is this day and age. And let's face it, it is target rich. So in closing, choose wisely. Why do we choose wisely? Because this is the typical information security vendor. Okay. It ain't pretty. Ask more bloody questions. I love this clicker. Yeah. Quit buying all the baubles and bullshit, please. We don't need it. There's only one thing we got to focus on, and that's assets. Where are they? What are they doing? Who owns them? Who needs to own them? Do we care about them? And what do we stop people from doing? That's it. If you haven't figured that shit out, you don't get to buy anything else. End of conversation. All right. Terry Pratchett, the late Sir Terry Pratchett. 1,000,000 to 1 happens 9 times out of 10. We know that. Most people don't. Help them understand it. There we go. Couldn't help it. No one had to be in there for all the obvious reasons. It's interesting. He was up there talking about it. I'm like, yeah, there's a few of us out there that have been helping. It's kind of a nice stress relief. Break into a Russian system legally. Ish. I don't have to tell a security officer. All right, this one. We all come at this from different directions. We all come at it from different areas, different focus, but we're all in this freaking shit together. So we have to figure out how we do it more effectively, please. So, final slide with the final killer bunny. I'm over my time. I apologize. Thank you very, very much, everybody. Much appreciated. And thank you for having me here.